This podcast contains descriptions of violence against children and adult language and is not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Suffer the Little Children, the podcast giving voices back to the victims of child abuse murder and their families. I'm your host, Laine, and this is episode 187, Arianna Starkey, Part 2. Last week, I told you the story of 2-year-old Arianna Starkey, whose father, Austin Starkey, failed to protect her from his homicidal girlfriend, Destani Neel. Both Austin and Destani were sentenced to prison for their roles in Arianna's brutal death. Arianna's death hit her family hard, and it's taken some time for her maternal grandmother, Christina Justice, to be ready to tell her story. In this episode, you'll hear my conversation with Christina, who told me about how she and her daughter, Arianna's mom, Kassie, have dealt with their loss, as well as the questions that remain unanswered about the case and who their precious Ari was. This is part 2 of the harrowing story of Arianna Starkey. And here is my recent conversation with Arianna's Nana, Christina Justice. There's nothing really, as far as the case goes, that you can't discuss now.
Yeah.
Well, that must be a relief.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's been super hard.
Yeah, I can only imagine what you guys have gone through, and God, I'm just so sorry, it's not fair in any way.
No, but this podcast helps a lot. I was listening to a podcast earlier, and I was like, wow, there's so many more people out here dealing with the same thing or have went through the same thing that we have.
Yes, yeah, a lot. In one of my last episodes, I think it was the one before the one you just listened to, the mom goes to a conference every year. It's for the group called Parents of Murdered Children. I guess they have like a big symposium every year or something like that. So that might be something to look at too. I have to see if I can find the link.
Yeah, that would be nice. Kassie definitely needs to get into something because this has really put a toll on her life and her emotions and mentally. It's really sad because she really doesn't want to talk about it because she says, Mom, I can't. I'm not ready yet. And I know that's got to be hard on her because it's almost been 4 years and it just never gets easy for anyone. You live day by day and just do the best you can, but you still have flashbacks about things like the courtroom and the photos that we had to see, which we didn't expect that. The officer had just asked us if we was ready to find out what happened to her. And then he threw out a bunch of pictures and I was like, whoa. Instantly, my whole body started shaking. Kassie lost it. And I had to grab her. I had the baby in my hand, her new baby, and I was like pushing pictures away, trying to block Kassie's eyes from seeing.
When was that?
It was on January 9th of 21 when we showed up at the police barracks because we went to the police barracks first so they could tell us what was happening because we had no idea.
Okay, so you guys went up the next day.
Yes.
When did Kassie find out about something going on?
The same day she found out about 9 or 10 o'clock at night. They had called her and said there had been an incident with Arianna. There was an accident.
Yeah.
We had no idea that she had even been taken out of the state of West Virginia and even in Ohio. Her son was with Austin's grandmother in Spencer, West Virginia, and they had just seen him, but Arianna hadn't been there at that visit.
Oh.
They met at Pizza Hut. And Kassie kept asking where Arianna was. And they said, oh, she's with her dad. But never did say that she was with him in Ohio with Destani and her kids.
That was something I was going to ask about is how and when did he end up in Ohio? It's, 2.5 hours or so from where you guys were?
Yes. We have no idea. We still don't even know like when he ended up there. The only thing I've seen is what he told them in the police reports.
Huh. Yeah, I'm going through with a fine-tooth comb, putting in all the details. And some of it is just too much. It's just, God.
Yes, after he had sent me that day, I spent that whole day. It was hours and hours of picking through it, just trying to find answers or trying to make sense of everything. And it was terrible. I was like, wow, like there was so much that they didn't discuss with us
Yeah.
at any of the hearings. We had no idea what either of them was trying to fabricate and lie about, or how this had even came about, what had happened or anything. And then all these years later, we're finding out all this, and it's way worse. Like, it's way more traumatizing. But I just needed to know. Kassie won't read any of it. I never did send any of it to her. She's not ready for that.
Yeah, probably not.
It's horrible.
I hope she never has to read the autopsy report. I had to quit last night after that. I was
Yes. Yeah, it was gruesome. Pretty sick.
Yeah, I cannot imagine. And did they ever address the potential sexual abuse? Because that was what really did me in.
No.
Wow.
And that is my thing. I still want ways to go back, and they would call this double jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
But the sexual abuse thing was never addressed. There's no answers on who could have done that to her.
Yeah.
I don't understand why that was never addressed in the courtroom.
Right. It's the worst. It's awful.
Yes.
I can't imagine finding out exactly what happened and them not being able to do anything about it.
See, in the pictures, I had seen marks all over her body, and of course she's laying there exposed, and I'm like, oh my gosh, please put some clothes on her. I didn't know if she was asleep. I didn't know if she was actually dead or what.
Yeah.
Because she's just laying there on a table, and that's horrible. That sight will never leave my memory. So I was trying to ask them, like, why does she have bruising there? Why is her little body so bruised? Like, what happened?
Yeah, it sounded like there were bruises everywhere.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
But for that not to be addressed about the sexual abuse on my granddaughter, I do not understand. That's something I want to honestly look into, because I think they should be brought up on charges of that. They never got charged with any kind of sexual assault on that baby.
I wonder if their whole thing is, well, we don't know who did it and it's already over with. So
yeah,
they basically wash their hands of it.
That's so unfair, though. They should be charged with that. Somebody needs to be charged with that, because the autopsy report says there was definitely signs of being sexual abused.
Yeah. I was looking up all the terms and just shuddering. I guess you'd have to start with the prosecutor's office, and maybe they'll have some answer as far as why there was no charge in the first place.
Yes, I feel the detectives done their job very well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel that the new judge that they had put on the case, which was a lady, I forget her name, but to me, when you're sitting in a courtroom, everything just goes so fast and you just can't absorb any of it. But I had talked to Prosecutor Black before the hearing on Destani.
Her sentencing?
Yes, for sentencing. And they let us know the morning of the hearing that they were plea bargaining with Destani.
Wow.
Yeah, we do the long trip to Ohio and find out the morning of the hearing, and we was all in shock. So, of course, me being her Nana, I got angry.
Yeah.
I was so angry.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to ask you first, or at least normally.
But we had no say-so in it. We couldn't read no victims' impact statements at the hearing.
None.
We were never addressed at the hearing. We was never, ever apologized to for what we've had to go through. It was all about Destani and them pretty well pampering her.
That's awful.
Just slapped her on the wrist like it was nothing.
And she got life with the possibility of parole.
Yes, she got 20 to life.
And she could have had the death penalty.
Yes.
So I wonder why they gave her parole.
And you know, when I talked to Prosecutor Black about that, I said, why can't you give her at least life without parole? I said, I'm not telling you to kill her, because the dead does not suffer. She won't suffer that way. I wanted her to suffer and live the rest of her life miserable in prison, knowing what she did to my grandchild.
And now you have to go to every future parole hearing.
Yes.
Just to be heard. And I see now why you were talking about Rosemary and her law for Joan, why it's so good, because
I would definitely love to have that law passed in Ohio and West Virginia.
Yeah.
I'm not good with the laws in Ohio and West Virginia, but I've been doing some research. But I feel like there wasn't no justice served. I asked Black, I said, well, how could you do this? Like, this is a baby's life. I put Arianna's pictures out on the table. I said, this is what she looked like before this monster got a hold of her. And you guys, you'll go after people who sell drugs and things and give them big sentences. I said, but you're allowing a murderer who literally murdered and abused my granddaughter. She admitted to this, and you're just slapping on the wrist, and now you're plea bargaining. And the answer he came back with, it would cost Ohio too much money.
Okay. And
yes,
that just, okay. My head just exploded, I think.
Yes.
Unreal.
Yes. That's what he told me. It would cost too much money. I'm like, are you serious? This is insane.
That is beyond shocking. I had to reset my brain for a second. So
yes,
that was the whole reason they didn't want to go to trial. Unreal.
Yes, that's it.
And I get it. Sometimes they do take that into consideration, but for him to come back and say that was the reason is so insensitive.
Yes.
At the very least, say, I didn't want to put the family through testimony and an awful trial with all of this information you don't want to know.
I had to refrain myself from going across the table at him.
I bet.
I was by myself and my parents were all waiting outside. My dad is like, Christina, you go in there and I said, Dad, this is not fair. They can't just do this. I was like, this is her life. Her life matters. If she had a future, she had a life. She's important.
Yeah.
How can they just brush her off like she was nothing?
Right.
She was 2 years old.
And it's so strange that, some states are more than willing to have these trials and
yes,
and make a big deal about it. And then just hearing that is so shocking. Normally, they do ask the family at least for their input, even if they don't do exactly what the family wanted as far as plea deals. But
right.
For them just to say, here's how it is, bye, is so insensitive.
You have no say-so in anything. We had to just sit there with our mouths shut. And then I'm sitting with Lieutenant Robinson right beside me, of course, because in the next pew over, right beside me, is her mother crying. I'm like, how can this lady really be in here? Can somebody please take her out?
And they had you on the same side as her. That's so strange.
Yes. I'm like, why can she even be near us?
Yeah.
Because I had to refrain myself from getting up and honestly knocking her head off.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. She raised this person.
Yes, and knowing that this monster done all these things to my granddaughter, but she's crying because her daughter's going to prison for it. If my child took a life and done such heinous acts against a child or anyone of that matter, I would not even been there for her. Seriously, I would say, put her away. And that's my child and I love her so much. But the things that she done, and she admitted doing it, and she admitted this right in front of her mother, is sick, and her mother still cries. And I get it, she's a mother, but that would just make me lose all kinds of respect for my child.
Yeah. I mean, she's a mother. She should know how much that made Kassie suffer, and you and everyone else. And you had already known by that time that Austin was getting just the 15 years and that was it.
Yes.
Did they do that because he was supposed to testify against her?
He was supposed to testify against her, and that never happened either.
Yeah, since there was no trial. So you have to wonder what he would have said.
Yes. I still wonder to this day, like what he would have said, what he had to say about the situation.
Yeah. And maybe an answer to why. Why would you let this woman do these awful things to your baby?
Yep.
Did he seem like a caring father to begin with?
He did. He did. Austin was very different, very naive.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that he had violence in him. Of course, everybody probably does, but like the fact that he never protected her, and like he lied in the beginning and they just fabricated things. You can see the story switching up as you read the reports.
Mm-hmm.
And finally he comes out and he admits that he knew of abuse on or after like January 4th.
Right. The 4th or 5th. And he knew about her throwing her in the bathtub. And
yes.
What on earth?
He said he never thought that it would get that far. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, right. I'm not sure where you think it stops.
So you're just going to hope and pray the abuse stops on your daughter?
Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, how crazy about this woman was he? There's no excuse for it.
Yeah, that is insane. There isn't. And it just sickens me. And then where it read that he puts her in bed after this or something and walks downstairs to be with Destani and her children at some point.
Yeah.
At some point, she drugged the child up the steps by her arm and it ripped her shirt.
Oh, that's the torn clothing that he threw away.
Yes. And then act like he didn't know what he was throwing away.
Right.
With a pillow.
Yep.
And other things. And then I don't understand why the child had no diaper on. That really makes me think and just sickens me.
Yeah, that seems like that was one of the first things that Destani mentioned when the EMS got there. And why is that so close to your mind?
Yes.
That makes you wonder what she was up to.
Because the EMS got mad, and then she had mentioned that to the nurse in the hospital. She got upset because the EMS got upset because they couldn't understand why the baby had no diaper on.
Right. And she was only 2, so she wasn't probably potty trained at all.
No. And Destiny would get angry because she had to change diapers. It sickens me.
She's got a 1-year-old at the time. Yeah, you're going to change some diapers.
Yes, it's just, I don't understand how her being a mother herself, mothers don't do that. Normal people do not do that. That is a sick monster. Like, I don't understand.
No, you'll probably never really understand. It's so incomprehensible for normal people.
I thought back and I remember even after everything, and I looked at the cops at the police station. I said, Lieutenant Robinson, is her kids okay?
Yeah.
And you ought to see the look on their faces. They're like, what? Like, you're asking, this monster just, I said, yes, but they're children and their lives matter too. Are her kids okay? He's like, I've never in the whole world heard anybody ask about somebody. I said, well, that's because I'm a real woman. I'm a mother myself, and those babies are innocent too. I said, I pray that she never hurt her children like she's done to my granddaughter.
Exactly.
It's sad.
And I think they're with their grandma now, so I hope they're in good hands.
Yeah, that's Destiny's mother.
So hopefully they're doing okay.
Yeah, but it's just been terrible. And to go back and relive everything's just been really hard. And I was also diagnosed with PTSD. I'm on no medication because I feel like I just need to live and do the best I can and try to help others. I'm doing a lot better. It's just,
well, that's good.
Going through all those reports, but I needed to.
Yeah.
When I got her story published through the UK magazine, that was terrible because it seemed like I was sitting there for hours talking to him because, of course, he asked me tons of questions and I was trying to remember everything. You don't realize how much you actually block in your memory.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's just like a coping mechanism for trauma, honestly.
It definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they interview you in person?
No, I actually had talked to him because he's from the United Kingdom.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
Yes.
Did you approach them or did they reach out to you?
He reached out to me.
Really?
And it actually took him a good year to get the story for Ari. It was really hard.
Yeah.
Because I was all over the place. My mind was completely, and I'm still like that. My memory is just so terrible because it rushes through everything. Like I have flashbacks of every little piece of everything, like dates and times. It's like a nightmare.
No doubt. Just remembering the things you had to see. And so you went to the police barracks first on the 9th.
Yes.
And then did they let you go to the hospital from there?
Yes, we went to the hospital from there, and it was just me and Kassie and her baby, and a friend had drove me because I didn't have a vehicle at the time. My car was broke down. And her boyfriend, Jerry, which is now her husband, he was away because he worked in the oil fields. So he was out of town when all this came about, and he was trying to get back. So a really good friend of mine took us, but he was having car trouble too. So another friend of mine had fixed his car that night and worked on it all night, got it fixed. And then we left early, and then we spent, half the day like driving and stopping. We had to change the baby, of course, and feed her and things like that on the way. So that did take some time, which she's so worth that. She's the new grandbaby. She's wonderful. She's very, very smart.
Oh, she's so cute too.
Yes, she is such a joy. And of course, he's very smart. He's 9 years old. He still has some trauma too. He does remember things. He has stated witnessing Destani smacking and beating on Arianna.
So he saw some of it.
Of course, he was little too, and he didn't understand. And he said there was times that she made them eat upstairs in that bedroom where the incident happened. And she would let her kids eat downstairs with her and whip on them and put them upstairs.
You think it was a jealousy thing with her?
I think so. Told me, he said, Nana, she was constantly being mean to Arianna and hitting her. And Arianna would cry for mommy.
And that must have just made it worse.
breaks my heart. Like, I just can imagine the suffering. You always pray, I hope they did not suffer,
Exactly. And knowing that she did is worse. It's just so much worse.
It's terrible.
I'll pause here to hear a word from my sponsors. So he was with her for only about 6 to 8 months probably before this happened?
Yes. And Kassie had custody of her children. What had happened was Austin had one of the kids. The fact of the matter was he was mad because Kassie was divorcing him. And he didn't want that to happen. But Kassie divorced him. She had moved on. He filed for emergency custody. Okay. He had called the CPS in on her a ton of times. DCS had came in on Kassie and cleared her. There was no child neglect in there. They figured it all out. It was all because of what was happening in this divorce. Well, they go to court. This was during COVID. So Kassie gets a hearing call, like over the Zoom thing, I think it was. And she had no lawyer, of course. She asked for an attorney and the judge denied it.
Doesn't seem right.
I need to look into that because I've got paperwork that I don't know the statute of limitations to it. So I'm not sure how it works in family court. But you'd think she would still have rights. It happened so fast because it was emergency order. Well, even the child protective lady, she had came to Arianna's funeral and she had talked to all of us. And she said, I begged that judge not to remove the children from the home.
And they did anyway.
They did anyway. She was there on Kassie's side. She's like, all this is a bunch of made up lies just because he's mad and wants to hurt Kassie. That's all it was. He wanted to hurt my daughter.
There's problems at every level of CPS, but that's one of the big ones.
The podcast made so much sense I was listening to earlier where it was stated when DCS comes in your home to check on children, the parents should, I agree fully, be able to show the child.
Yeah, that should be a requirement.
That is completely crazy.
Exactly. Even if it's not the child that you're supposedly looking in on or whatnot.
Right. You need to see all the children in the home. You should check on every child in that home.
I can't agree more. It's crazy to me that
the system has failed so much with these kids and it's still failing. Even John had told me, the one who I had spoken with, the magazine, the journalist, he said even in England and the United Kingdom, he said in Australia too, because he is from actual Australia, he said that their system is corrupt too.
I've covered cases from England, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand. It's crazy. And Canada.
He said it's all over the world. He said it's not just happening in our states. It's happening all over the world.
There's got to be a good answer, but I can't begin to tell you what it would be. That's the problem. It's so nuanced, I guess, because every situation is different.
Yes.
But it just seems like if someone's crying out for help, then that should be very important in the determination.
Yes. Arianna was such a happy little baby.
Yeah.
I was in the room when she was born with Kassie because, of course, Kassie was scared. I was there when she took her first breath. She was a beautiful, bright, blue-eyed, healthy little baby. She was perfect. I kept asking them, I'm like, is she okay? Let me see her fingers and her toes. Is she breathing okay? Is, everything. And they're like, yes, she's perfect. She was so full of life. She loved her little tea parties. I remember the last time I was with her. See, I had to have some weight loss surgery and things like that. And she was feeding me so much candy, but I was her nana. I kept eating candy. She loved peanut butter M&Ms. And if I wouldn't take the peanut butter M&Ms, she'd get upset. She would force feed me the M&Ms.
Oh, no.
I said, okay, baby. I said, let's just go have our tea party and play with our dollies. And she was all happy about that. She wanted tea parties and dollies all the time, her doll babies.
Okay, so she loved her babies too, yeah.
Oh, she did. She was a little mother hen at 2 years old. She was so smart.
Oh.
That's why I don't understand. They said that she was behind. She didn't talk very much, but she was just quiet. She would talk when she needed something.
No, she could talk.
Yes, she could talk. She just didn't talk very much.
Yeah, and sometimes the younger kids don't need to because they have a sibling who says everything for them too.
Yes. We knew what she wanted. She would come tell us.
Yeah.
She would tell us Cuppy and stuff. She knew her basic stuff. She might have been a little bit behind, but I don't see no 18 months behind.
Was that Austin and
Austin.
right?
Austin had tried to state that, or Destiny, it was one of them, had tried to state that she was so far behind.
Okay.
She wasn't. She was just a good little soul. She was very gentle. She was a good child. The temper tantrums, I believe that was so many fabricated lies. I had never saw that child one time take a temper tantrum, and I was so shocked because she was not that kind of child throwing herself on the floor.
Yeah. And any sort of behavior that she might have shown could easily be explained away by she's being abused and no one's helping her.
Because she really didn't have much of a voice. Like she was just 2.
Yeah.
A 2-year-old really can't say a whole lot.
No, they can't tell you everything.
But knowing that he knew that she was abused is just, I'm sickened by it. I can't believe he didn't protect her.
Yeah. I wonder what his family feels about that.
Oh, they uphold him. His grandmother, his mother's never really been in his life. Austin, I think, was kind of abused by his mother's boyfriends and things.
Okay.
Yes, I think he was abused. So his grandmother had got custody of him and his brothers when they was younger. And he had lived with his grandmother most of his life. And because of his mother having different boyfriends, and they abused Austin and his brothers. Well, his grandmother, she tries to stay active in life, my grandson's life.
Okay.
And buys him gifts, and they do visit, but it's always supervised visits at my parents' house. My parents allow her and the step grandpa to see him. Because, of course, they had nothing to do with that. They didn't hurt them kids. Arianna was fine when Austin had her there. We felt safe with Arianna being at Mike and Evelyn's, which is Austin's grandparents. They're not bad people, but they uphold Austin, and they still don't want to believe, and I can understand that. They still don't want to believe that Austin didn't do anything to protect her. Your grandmother, we don't see eye to eye on things because she gets really upset and emotional because I tell her how it is. I'm like, no, he failed to protect her, and he deserves to be where he's at.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And she keeps thinking that he's going to get out early. I said, no, he won't, because I will make sure he does not. I'm about 45 minutes to right close to the prison where he's being contained. So I would show up at a parole hearing in a heartbeat. But Lieutenant Robinson is wonderful, and he's comforted me a lot, letting me know, like, that's not going to happen like they think it is. She keeps telling my parents he wants to try to come up for parole next year. I said, there is no way.
That's far too soon.
Yes, there's no way. And I'm wondering if he's got some mental problems for even thinking that, or not. He's just not protecting his daughter.
Yeah, maybe he just has no sense of responsibility. I don't know. It seems so strange for him to just change his personality, it seems like.
Yes. Definitely been really hard to absorb all this and just make sense of it. I'm like, normal people just can't make it. There's just no.
You can't wrap your mind around it.
No. You kind of wonder what they was thinking, or what made them do such a horrible, horrible thing.
Yeah, there has to be something wrong in there.
Yes.
Especially for Destiny. I'm assuming she's the one who did all of the abuse.
They pretty well proved that.
Yeah.
They put him in jail pretty well because he failed to protect his daughter.
Right.
And he knew about the abuse.
I can't imagine what would go wrong in someone's mind like Destiny, who is a mother, and not have feelings about what you're doing to another child, even if you're jealous of her mother.
Yes.
I'm sure Austin talked about Kassie often. I'm sure Arianna and both spoke about her all the time. That's their mommy.
Yes.
I feel like that's probably a lot of it.
Kassie has so much anger, just like so much anger built up.
Yeah.
It's sad because when she does break down, of course, for like the longest time, she lived really close to me, like in the same apartment complex. And in the middle of the night, she would call me and she'd be crying so hard.
Oh,
Mama, I can't breathe. Please help me. And I would get my shoes on, and I would, snow, rain, sleet, it did not matter. I'd be there. And I remember a lot of the times I'd wake up in her bed with her.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yes. Was still holding her, like me sitting up in bed with her on my lap, me holding her and comforting her. because once you're a mother, you're always a mother.
Right. They're always your baby.
Even me being a mother, if I seen somebody trying to hurt a baby, I will protect that child. That's natural instinct.
Exactly. So I think Destani must have been missing that instinct.
Yes, she had to be. I don't know. I can never imagine what was going on in her head. She's very sick. Demented, I think. Just
It seems like it, yeah.
the last time I seen Arianna, she was happy. She was fine. Austin's grandparents had brought Arianna to a visit at my parents because it had to be supervised at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave her a kiss and told her I'd see her the next time. And that was the last time I seen her.
And when was that?
That was in November. I want to say around like November 20 something.
Oh, okay. Did you see her for her birthday?
I never got to see her for her birthday, no. They wouldn't bring her to visits and things. They quit even letting my parents or Kassie call her or talk to her.
Oh.
Kassie would call to talk to her, and they wouldn't set up visitations with Kassie at all. I remember that because they had taken him sometime in like at the end of, I think it was October. Because see, Kassie had moved away with the kids to Wallback. And she was living about 45 minutes away from us. And that's when everything started happening.
Okay. And so they were doing the old isolation trick and keeping the kids away from people who cared and could tell something was wrong.
Yes.
The number of commonalities between all of these kids' stories is really disturbing. It's like there's a playbook for these people.
Yes.
I don't know where they learn this stuff, but they all seem to do it.
Yes. I don't understand. There's evidence of them trying to hide something.
Yeah.
Something was going on, and I don't understand why he just took Arianna out of the state and not went for visits at Destini's for a couple days at a time.
But basically they were living there, Austin, Arianna.
Basically, they started living there. I do know of an incident where could have very easily been hurt also, or his life could have been taken because they were supposed to, Ryan, which is Austin's brother, and was supposed to go to Destini's for a visit, but Destiny ended up getting COVID. So, and Ryan had stayed home and Spencer with Austin's grandparents.
Oh, that's why he was still in. Okay.
Yes. That's why, was not involved in that because he was still at Mike and Evelyn's. Because when we came back from Ohio, I stayed home with the baby at my apartment because it was so late. My best friend dropped us off because Kassie was living at the same apartment complex. And Kassie and my parents went to Roane County and met some friends of Evelyn and Mike's to pick up my grandson and bring him back.
And this was after Arianna had been injured and...
Yes, this is after they unplugged her on life support. The state of Ohio, we had no say-so in any of that.
Because they had taken custody of her.
Yes. And I just wanted her to be on life support for a few more days. I don't feel that she was on life support long enough. I just wanted to make sure that you always have this hope.
Right.
That maybe her brain, because she was so young, maybe she just needed, rest. But then now I see all the autopsy reports and she was gone.
The bleeding in so many places.
Yes. She was so beat up.
That poor baby.
She had to hurt, she's probably crying. She doesn't understand. And
right.
It's terrible.
There's nothing that she could have done to warrant any of that.
No.
No 2-year-old could do anything bad enough to warrant what she did.
No. I just don't understand. And then all the evidence they gathered and the piece of wall they took out that looked like her head could have went through it, or I'm like,
that's what it was. Okay.
Yes, the wall in the hallway. I'm like, wow, this woman who was very, very large and
Arianna weighed 33 pounds.
Yes.
And Destani was upwards of 350, I want to say.
Yeah, 350. She looked to me she was humongous sitting in the courtroom. I hate to say that, but it's the truth.
When I saw her prison photo, I didn't recognize her. She has changed so much. Just knowing she's on the planet must be the bane of your existence.
It is. It's very hard. It's very hard.
Well, hopefully she will never get out.
They keep her locked up in solitary confinement a lot because, like, the abuse, the other prisoners, she's probably had threats on her life.
Well, all the women in there, the ones who can't see their children but want to, and knowing what she's in there for, they can't be very happy about that.
Oh, yes, of course. You know they want to get at her. Yeah, definitely. Black had made a comment that he had listened to the conversations when Austin would call. He said, I listened to the calls for 6 months, and neither one of them broke and told anything or even spoke of Arianna or what had happened. He said, the only thing I remember her saying, he said, she sickens me. She got mad over a bag of M&Ms one of the inmates had stole from her. She was crying over M&Ms. I said, who in the world would even give her a privilege? I'm like, prison apparently is privileged for these murderers.
Yeah, if someone gives her money, she can buy things. And
I don't think they should be allowed to have privileges like that. She was worried about M&Ms, but she can kill a child and sexually abuse a baby,
and never mention her again.
No. And they showed no remorse in the courtroom.
That's another thing that just gets to me. Why? I wonder how she justified what she did.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if she's still able to sleep at night, I don't understand how.
I don't understand how she sleeps. I hope she doesn't sleep. I hope every time she closes her eyes, she sees what she done.
I do too. Yeah.
I hope that haunts her for the rest of her days.
If she has any conscience whatsoever,
yeah,
then it should. But I'm not entirely sure she does.
I have no remorse for people like her.
Right.
None. I feel nothing for her. To me, she isn't even a life. To me, Destani isn't even a person.
I feel like she lost that right when she took someone else's.
Yes.
Especially a baby.
I do believe a murderer loses that right. Every murderer, whether it's a child or an adult, loses that right the day that they take another life.
Sometimes I do understand the eye for an eye mentality because...
Yes. I begged them to let me. I said, I can deal with this. I'm like, please just let me. I'll be the judge and the juror. I want to know what happened. I was not in my right mind because I was feeling so much pain. And
yeah,
it's hard telling the crazy things I said I would do.
Well, I think that's warranted, you know?
Yes.
I cannot imagine how it changes your brain, the PTSD alone, but just knowing the things you know and having to think about those things. And
yeah. I could be anywhere and then boom, a memory just pops up and it's instant emotions and crying. Like,
yeah, for sure.
It's terrible. It's affected my life and Cassie's a lot. And, my grandson still wakes up crying over his sister.
I hope he doesn't in some way feel guilty for being...
We've taken him to talk to people and things like that.
Oh, good.
He knows he can talk about it anytime, day or night that he needs to.
I'm so glad to hear that. And he's 10.
He'll be 10 in April. He's an April Fool's baby. He's so cute. He's very smart and a happy little guy. I love watching them grow up. I can't wait to see what they'll be. What hurts me the most is that Arianna would have been 6 years old this year. Who would she be? What would she be doing? What would her favorite color be? I do believe her favorite color was purple. She always had this dress. She wanted to dress up all the time. And I would let her pick her own clothes. And she always wanted to wear that purple dress. And Kassie didn't like the purple dress. She's like, Mom, come on, that's older. I said, but she loves it, Mommy. And she would laugh because she would put them pink boots on with it, her pink gum boots.
Yeah.
You'd have to wait until she was asleep to take her gum boots off of her.
Oh, she's not waiting for rain. She's wearing them whenever.
No, she wanted to wear them gum boots all the time. She loved them.
That's so cute.
It was the cutest thing.
Yeah, there's at least one picture of her in those boots. The one that's on the vase, her headstone.
Yes, that's the boots her Nana got her. I got her those little pink gum boots.
Oh.
Day one, she wore those gum boots. It was so cute. Everything she wore, she had them gum boots on. And she had to make sure that was in her overnight bag if Kassie would bring her to come stay with Nana. She had to have them boots.
Of course. You can't wear your pajamas without your rain boots and your...
Cassie's like, Mom, you ruined her. She's got the cutest little dress shoes and everything. And she won't even wear her dress shoes. She wants to wear them boots, the pink gum boots, Mom. It was so cute. I miss her so bad.
Now for another quick sponsor break. What are some of the things that you remember best about her?
Just her kindness, and she was so full of life.
Yeah.
Her dancing and playing, and she would try to sing, and there's so much. She loved to dance. I have like a lot of dancing videos with her.
Oh,
She loved to dance and dress up and play tea parties, and she loved four-wheeler rides and things. My dad would take her little four-wheeler rides down the road. She loved being outside. She was an outside baby. I'd buy little swimming pools for them in the summertime. She loved little swimming pools. You could hardly ever get her out of the bathtub. She wanted to stand there, and she totally wanted her bubbles in there. And I would get her those little chalk things that, you could draw like different colors on the wall.
Yep.
And the whole wall would have little handprints all over the place. And
Oh, it's worth the cleanup.
yes, she was a normal 2-year-old baby, so full of life.
Yeah.
I so wonder what she'd be nowadays. I'm like, she could have been a doctor, a lawyer, anything. I feel like we got ripped off.
You did. Yeah. It's not fair.
No.
And especially for her.
I'm like, what would she have wore her first day of school?
Right.
We'll never get to see him do anything. She'll never get to have babies. She'll never get to be married. She'll never get to live life.
Right.
But Destani can still breathe.
Yeah. There's nothing you can really do about that, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah, it really isn't fair. None of it seems fair.
It's not fair that she gets to be here on this earth knowing she done such a horrible thing. There's just no justice. 20 to life is not enough. It is just not enough time. It's not.
Yeah.
Knowing that she can come up for parole.
I can't even put my brain around that one.
No.
She definitely shouldn't be out.
See, I believe if we could have the same law that Rosemarie got passed, then we would know for sure Destani would never have a chance of getting out.
That would be nice.
And I want to enforce that so bad.
Even if it's something that it can't be retroactive or whatever, like it was with Rosemarie, it still protects other families from having to go through that, going through a parole hearing every 2 to 5 years. So stressful for you.
Like Rosemarie gives me hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she is still fighting to get things done and protect children.
Yeah, talk about a badass.
And yes, she is. She's definitely a badass. Definitely a woman I look up to. I need to actually email her. I just haven't got the chance to lately because reading all that stuff, I've been trying to.
Oh, you had to go through all of the papers and processing all that in your own mind.
Trying to decompress my brain from all that because that is a lot to take in. You even seen the paper. I was like, wow.
Oh, it's a lot.
It's a lot to absorb.
I didn't expect to get that much back when I requested just the investigative documents, whatever.
Right. I wonder what the results did come back as, though. I still have questions about things like, was there any DNA on Arianna?
Right.
That's missing. I feel like that's missing out of these documents.
Yeah, they took an assault kit.
Yes. Where's that at?
That's a good question for Mr. Black, I would say. If it's still in evidence.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they keep all that. I do believe because, there's cases that's been unsolved that they've had evidence for so many years.
Yeah.
So they've got to have that evidence somewhere. And I just need to know because there's no DNA results that's been showed.
I don't think there was anything in the police documents.
No, there hasn't been. And I noted that. I'll put that in my notes because I have questions about that. Like, there's got to be results somewhere.
Yeah. Or did they not even process it?
Yeah.
That's the one thing I wonder is maybe they just thought we have plenty. We don't need this as well, which.
No, we needed that. I will fight for them DNA results because I'm like, nope, you guys need to do something. Don't bring it public or anything, but that needs to be done.
Absolutely. You and Kassie and the whole family, you deserve to know what happened. If you can stomach it, that is, of course.
Yes, because there's no DNA reports. This has done traumatize my life forever. So I don't think there's anything in this world that I couldn't face.
Yeah, at this point.
This is a person's worst nightmare. A year prior to Arianna's death, I watched the Gabriel Fernandez trial.
Yeah.
And I cried so hard, Laine. Like, I pray that nothing ever like this would ever happen to my babies.
Exactly. Yeah. And you think about that when things happen, even school shootings, things like that.
Yes.
That's what you think. God, please never let that happen to my kids. And you guys have to go through it.
How can these people have these children then do this? It's so gross. It's so sick and inhumane.
That's the word for it. Because how are you a human being and you're able to do something like that? They must have turned in their humanity card a long time ago.
I will never forget what Judge Wallace said to Austin. When I read my statement for Arianna, the victim's impact statement, because Kassie just couldn't. I didn't know that we was allowed to do anything. Nobody had said or mentioned a victim's impact statement. I wrote this statement within just a few minutes.
Yeah. And this was for Austin.
This was for Austin. Okay. And I remember that Judge Wallace said, even a wild animal would protect its young to the death. A stranger would try to save a drowning child.
Exactly.
And he literally, it's in some of the reports somewhere on the Facebook stuff, probably, where he quoted that stuff after I wrote my statement. And he was pretty well sickened from that. And for you being a father, he said, it sickens me.
Right. Father in DNA contribution only.
Yes.
Certainly not in all the things that matter.
A donor.
Right. That's it.
That's all he was. And, I still wonder to this day because doesn't understand a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
And I personally do not want Austin ever around my grandson when he gets out. And, that will be up to when he's older.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I want to make sure that he never gets around because I worry about safety. He never protected Arianna.
Right. Yeah. You can't possibly trust him to protect any child.
No. And I worry about things like that. And I want to fight with every breath in me to keep Destani in there for the rest of her life and make sure Austin does his sentence.
Right. Exactly. And that when he gets out eventually, he should be barred from contact with his own son.
Yes, I do believe something like that might be in effect. I'm not sure, but you would think they should have done something like that, like a no contact order or something. There were so many fine details that was never brought up. Just the small things that I wonder about and why they didn't do it. And my biggest thing was the DNA thing. Why take DNA samples if you're never going to present them?
I never realized that there was no result from the kit because I wrote that they took the kit.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking it must be later in the document when they tell you what happened.
But it's not. I read through all the documents and never came across any DNA. It said it would take 12 to 16 weeks for them to get that back. Well, they still sort of got it back. It should be with the documents.
If they did get results, you'd think it'd be in there.
Yes. So there's another question that's been weighing on my mind the last few days. Like, okay, where's that part of the investigation?
Whether it gives you answers or not, at least knowing that it's complete.
Yes. Knowing that it's complete and that it was actually taken in consideration.
Yeah.
Because that's important. Because she was sexually assaulted. There's proof in that. And we may never know who done it.
Right. But it sounds an awful lot like
Destini's done that. Destiny definitely done that.
Because she was so concerned about the pull-up and
yes,
just very weird.
That shows guilt. And the 911 call was sick.
Oh, she was so calm.
Yes. How could you be calm? If I witnessed a stranger's child get, oh my goodness, I would be losing my mind.
Yeah, exactly.
I would be trying to pick that child up and run it to the doctor, the nearest fire department or somewhere to get it help.
She's too worried about having COVID. I can't leave the house.
They were still doing CPR. Our first responders still, I got to meet the first responder.
The paramedic.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Paramedic. And he apologized to us. I said, no, you done everything you can. That was not on you.
That was Tony Wheeler, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And he is a wonderful person. Tony Wheeler is a wonderful person. I think that him and Lieutenant Robinson need big rewards for being so dedicated to Arianna.
I feel for the first responders all the time.
Yes.
They have to see things that they probably never even tell the family, just some of the most.
I hugged him and I was like, hey, you got her to breathe again. They got a pulse on her. And Lieutenant Robinson, it breaks my heart. He says, I'll never forget her bright blue eyes. He said she opened her eyes.
Just that one time.
And then she closed them. Yes. And then she never opened them again.
She was saying, thank you.
Yep. Pretty much saying, hey, I know you tried to save me. That gives me hope there because I feel comfort in that she was so strong to me and she was trying to fight, like she still had fight in her, and it makes me so sad though, because she's trying
Yeah.
to live,
And she should have been allowed to, and it's so enraging.
That's got to be terrible for the first responders though, because
Yeah.
they're fighting so hard for the babies,
And they see the injuries.
trying to save them, and they can't. They got to go home with that.
I always hope that they have the help they need, because that can't be easy.
Yes. And our cops, they're angels, they're like...
Yeah. There was a story I told about a little girl in Pennsylvania, and they actually made a documentary about the first responders in her case. And it was devastating.
Yes.
It's just the things that they had to talk about, the things that they saw. And
wow.
Yeah, it was well done, but it hurt. It was very tough.
It's terrible.
So I always just feel for all of those people, the paramedics and police especially.
This case has really made me want to, I'm 42 now, and you're never too old to learn and make something out of your life. Me, myself, I've dealt with a lot of abuse in the past from ex-husbands and things like that. And
yeah,
I'm so for women's rights and for children. And there's something I just want to make an impact. And I promised Arianna, when they buried her,
mm-hmm.
I was like, the animal will forever love you, but I will never give up on you or forget you. And I promise, since I get to live and you didn't, that I would make sure that I would remember you and make sure you was remembered and show love and compassion for people and try to help others and make a difference, because I have my whole life. And I remember in the hospital, I was begging to take her place, because she had her whole life ahead of her. And I was like, it's not fair that I can't exchange my life for her to live.
That must be the first thing you think.
And, and I've told my parents and Kassie, I'm like, so we should make the best of our lives that we can because we get to live,
She'd want you to.
Yes. So I try to do my best every day. I light candles for her. And on her birthdays, we make sure we bring her gifts to her grave and have cupcakes and say happy birthday to her. And we bring her little doll babies and we clean her grave off and put new things on it. And every holiday we decorate it.
Oh, perfect.
We remember her. She's always remembered. She's never going to be forgotten.
Yeah, her sister will know her through all of you. That's amazing.
Yes, she knows her. She goes up there and she helps us. And she'll sing happy birthday to her sister and eat cupcakes.
She didn't get to meet her at all, did she?
No, she was 2 weeks old. Arianna got to see her over a video call with Kassie after Kassie had her, but she never did get to hold her or meet her.
Oh, she would have been such a great big sister, too.
Yes. Every night she'll go out on the porch and she looks at the sky and she goes, my sister Arianna's up there.
Oh.
And she looks down on me. She says the stars is her sissy.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It is. It is. She always looks at pictures. She's well aware of who her sister is. We tell her stories about her.
You guys are doing a great job of keeping her memory alive, and thank you for letting me help you in any small way.
Thank you for helping so many people, and I pray for all the families out here that's going through the same thing. I pray that they get justice for every baby.
Exactly. I really hope that you can get some answers out of someone. You deserve those.
Yes. Yes, I want to try to call Black and say, hey, I actually got they didn't want us to really get any of the stuff because they said it was horrible. And my parents or nobody has gotten it or even tried to. And my parents have always supported me. They said, Christina, if you feel you need that, because like me and John Parrish was talking, the journalist that done her story, he said, hey, some people just need that. I said, does that make me wrong because I want to see, I want to know? He's like, no, that's part of some people's healing process. Like some people want to know and see, and then others don't.
Right.
I was like, well, the detectives had said it wouldn't be a good idea if we got it. I'm like, I've waited so long to get it, and I'm glad that you had it because I didn't even know where to start to get it. So that was a blessing that you had it.
And I don't usually request those. I don't usually get the court documents, or it just for some reason in Arianna's case, I said I have to get all the information I can. And I'm glad I was able to at least hear that.
How do you even get that stuff sent to you like that?
How did I do it with them? I think I went to the Hocking County website And I gave, the date of the incident, the names, everything that they could have needed to know, and said, please send me incident reports, indictments, and that sort of thing. I don't think it was very long with hers either. I think within a week for sure, they had sent it back by email. So that worked out pretty well. I'm glad you were able to see some of that stuff. And I do hope it.
Yes, it does help knowing there's just a few more questions. Now I could kind of ease myself a little bit, but the pain it's still hard. I'm still kind of like in shock over this. It just feels like it just happened yesterday still. It doesn't seem, with all the years that go by, it still seems like it's so fresh. And
sure, people say it gets easier with time, but that all depends, I think.
yeah, I think it depends on a lot of different factors. But me personally, going through it, to me, I don't think it gets easy. I think that you learn to just live with it.
That's got to be it.
You learn a coping mechanism or something. I don't know what you would call it, but it's really still hard to live with.
Of course.
I still wake up sweating, having nightmares of seeing all this. And I can be sitting here and I can still have flashbacks of sitting in a courtroom and watching my daughter. I felt so helpless.
Yeah.
When you're a parent and you're looking from the outside and you're like, I've not only lost my grandchild, but I'm losing my daughter. I can't fix this for her. Like, I can't bring her baby back. And you feel so helpless.
That's the worst, is not being able to fix it for your child.
Yes.
When they get older and you can't fix their problems anymore, that hurts. But this is just so far beyond that.
Yes.
Time for one more word from my sponsors. I'm glad you're starting to get to the point where you're more angry than...
Yes. I'm going to take that anger and turn it into good, though.
Exactly.
Rosemary, I'm going to take that and I'm going to try to make a difference and try to get something passed. West Virginia needs stricter. They're corrupt very bad in West Virginia about the child protective thing.
Yep.
I don't know Ohio's things, but I know at our local office is very corrupt there. There's been children that's came up missing in the system that they don't know where these children are.
What?
Yes.
That's a problem, obviously. That's crazy.
Yes. Where there's been children they can't even find. I'm like, what? What's happening to these children?
Right, exactly.
That you were supposed to be protecting.
It's so unacceptable.
It's sick. The child protective, they can't protect these babies. And, some of these judges, Judge Wallace was wonderful. I wish he could have stayed on Arianna's case, but he was retiring, or I think he was just done. Like, I think Arianna's case honestly done him in.
Yeah, it certainly would,
Yeah.
For that to be the last case that you ever handle.
I know it haunts Lieutenant Robinson. He's great. He and his family drove in last year. It was last summer. He met me at my apartment, and Kassie and Jerry, her husband, met him, and he followed them out to my family's property where we have a family cemetery and it's beautiful. And he went to Arianna's grave to visit her, and he put a little chase doggy, like a little puppy dog, on her grave.
Oh, that's so sweet.
They say that cops and things are not supposed to take things so personal stuff, but he said this case, because his daughter was about the same age, and this case was kind of personal to him.
I can't imagine how it wouldn't be. It's just such a huge injustice.
I know me myself, I could not do the job that they do, because it would.
No.
I would probably be in jail myself, because I couldn't hold my temper around somebody hurting a child. Like, I would totally lose my cool. I couldn't.
I give them a lot of credit for being able to interview these people, sit in the same room.
That's going to be terrible, and restrain yourself from wanting to cause them harm. Yeah, I could just imagine the things they have to see and hear.
Absolutely.
They're definitely angels, and they're definitely strong people, because I personally couldn't do it.
Yeah, I'm glad you had a good one. And he follows up and he stays in touch. That's really, really touching. I love that.
And I'm thankful for the other officers too. I just never really interacted with them. He said, hey, I had a team. I didn't do this on my own. In my mind, to me, I'm like, it's Lieutenant Robinson. He's amazing. He kept in contact with our family. And not to sound partial to the other officers, because they did do the work too. I just personally didn't interact with them as much as Lieutenant Robinson. When I had questions or concerns about anything, I called him. And he was always there to comfort my family. He was always there for my family and Kassie through everything. And he really took this to heart with him. He has a picture of Arianna and probably other children too on his wall that he's had to deal with this situation.
Yeah, it's got to be so hard when you have your own.
He's a father himself, and his wife, she's amazing too. I got to meet her, and she has to be a strong person to be there, be his support group, whenever he is upset and things. I could just imagine, like, it's got to be really hard being married to an officer.
Oh, for sure. Even just the worry every day, are you going to come home? But
yes,
then the things that they have to, and they can't even talk about it.
This world is a cruel, sick place, but it's just a very sad place sometimes. There's so much crime and so much abuse in this world, and
makes you wonder, what on earth are we doing as a species,
As a nation, like as a world, what are we doing? Like,
we have to figure out what really matters and focus on those things.
Yes, we do. And it's our future, our children, getting help for these people who are mentally ill and sick.
Mm-hmm.
It's being truthful, and if these people have a problem, they need to speak out. I believe if there's an issue, why couldn't Destani have called one of us or Austin's grandma if she was having that much problem? Why does she have to take her life and abuse her?
I feel like she enjoyed it in a way. I really do.
Yes. See, that's the thing that I just can't grasp, is that why don't these people, these murderers, these sick people, but you're right, at some extent, they probably enjoy it.
There was the one that I told you who goes to the Parents of Murdered Children group.
Yes.
Her daughter was 2, and she was murdered by her babysitter. And that woman actually made Google searches saying, why do I enjoy beating other people's children?
Wow.
It's so insane.
Oh, my.
At some point, they realize, I actually am having fun with this. It's
wow,
just gross.
It's sick. Kassie will not allow her babies to be babysitted by anybody else but me and my mother or close family. She will never put them in daycare.
Yeah.
She will never let a stranger watch. She will never let any of that happen. No, ever.
Especially now, I'm sure.
Yes. She's always been a wonderful mother. She's very protective over her children.
Good. Yeah.
She just called me this evening, a video chat, before I'd done this meeting with you. And my granddaughter, she's cute. She had like a little toy hammer. She was helping her daddy work on their flooring.
Oh.
And I was like, look at her, a big girl. She's helping. She's girly and she wants to be little princesses. But Ari was really girly. She was that total girl, and more like she's a little princess, but she's that princess that wants to get dirty and pick up a hammer and try to help her dad fix the floor.
You can wear a tutu and a hard hat at the same time.
She's that kind of girl.
I love it.
And I love watching her grow up, because I know it sounds selfish, because I just feel like we got it's just not fair. It's not fair.
No, you did. You got ripped off.
Totally ripped off like that. She had her whole life ahead of her, and not getting to see her grow up and not getting to take her fishing or anything. There's so many things that we've got to do with that Arianna never got a chance to do, I'm like, wow, it's not so much we got ripped up. Arianna got it. Life was too short for her.
Very much.
You want to believe that God had other plans for her, but the way that she had to leave us and leave this earth is just unreal.
Yeah, it's such a vicious thing to happen to such a tiny little undeserving person.
Yes. An innocent baby who could not even fight back.
Right.
What does people get out of that? I mean, that is disgusting.
Yeah. I don't think I'll ever understand, no matter how many of these kids I learn about. I can't put my brain around that. I've tried. I'm just, what is it?
There's no words for it. There's no explanation. You can't.
No, not at all.
Because our minds a normal person's mind does not think about ever hurting anyone. Let alone an innocent little baby. The only time I ever think about hurting anybody is if I'm protecting somebody from getting hurt. Like, that's natural response.
Exactly. That's what you're supposed to do, Austin.
I would protect these ones. I told my mother if it was the last thing I'd done, I would make sure they would be protected. I'm like, Mom, how come we didn't see the signs? You go through so many steps of grieving, to where you blame yourself for things. You're like, why couldn't I have done anything as a grandparent and just fought? Why didn't I fight harder to protect them from Austin and her? There's so many things that your mind goes through, things you could have done, the would haves and the could have beens and everything. And
At some point, I hope you were able to stop doing that because it's just.
yes, at a point I have. I know there's nothing I could have done any different as a grandparent because we did protect them. They're completely fine when they were with us. And
Yeah.
it was just the system that failed them. The system failed Arianna. And like it's failed to so many other children.
Thank you for letting me help you tell Arianna's story. She means a lot to me and it means a lot to a lot of people.
Thank you. Thank you so much for wanting to do her story. I'm forever thankful for you.
Oh, no problem. It's my honor, honestly. I've never forgotten about her, and I knew that someday we would get there.
I'm so glad you understand that because it does take time. It's never easy. It took forever for me to do it. And then finally, my boyfriend, he's amazing and he's helped me a lot.
Oh, good.
He's helped me face a lot of my heartache, because he does talk to me about it. I always tell him, like, you've saved me a million ways.
Oh, I'm glad you got a good one. Thank goodness for that.
Yes, I'm blessed for that. Yes.
Yeah, you have to go through a few bad ones before you know what to look for.
Yes, definitely. Now I know the signs of abuse and things like that. What I've learned from Arianna's murder, I do know red flags now, and I'm very aware of abuse now. I could be at a friend's house and it's not that I'm looking for it. It's just that you would be able to see a sign of anything now. It's like, yeah.
You're attuned to it now.
Yes.
It's right there in the forefront of your mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's a lot of why I do this is to educate people on those signs. And I heard so many people say, because I listened to this show, I was able to save my sister's daughter or whatever it was.
You're making a difference. And that's wonderful. It makes you want to thrive more and more and more and do more stories and get more awareness out there.
Just keep pushing because there's always, unfortunately, another kid who didn't get a voice and needs it.
Yes. So you need to be their voice. And like I told Kassie, I said, I will always be your voice and her voice. She will never be silenced.
I am so glad for that.
And what inspired me too, before we get off of here, is the butterfly thing with Rosemary. That made me feel like that was my sign that Arianna's rooting for me. Like, you're doing the right thing, Nana. Like, it makes me feel like I do need to proceed with this and see if I can change something. I just want to make the best out of my life because I have the opportunity to be alive. She deserves to live and be remembered.
Yeah, and if you can do any good in her name, that is...
Yeah, and if I can help save some of these kids, like, this has got to stop with these babies. She's still here with us, in your heart and your soul, and this is something like maybe her saying, you could do this, Nina. I'm still here. You're making people remember me,
Yep. Oh, she knows. She knows you're fighting for her. And
yes, I will always fight for her. I will dedicate the rest of my life for her and other kids to help protect them.
There's no one who can ever say that Arianna did not have a badass Nana.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. That makes me feel a lot better.
I'm just glad in your home and in Cassie's home, she knew she was loved.
She knew she was loved. Yeah, she knew she was loved.
Yeah. If she's anywhere right now, which I believe that a lot of these kids are up there playing together, but she's got to know.
I believe she's up there waiting for us. I do believe we'll see her again one day. I pray that whatever happens to us on this earth, I hope there is a better place for all of us and that we can be reunited and have another chance with our babies.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, she'll hold a place for you and she knows how loved she is now.
I do believe I'll have the tea party with her once again. I'm jealous of the angels that get to hold her.
Yeah, and they are. I'm so grateful to Christina for taking the time to talk to me about who Arianna was and how her death has affected the family, as well as the good Christina hopes to do in her granddaughter's name. My heart goes out to Christina, Kassie, Arianna's brother and sister, and the rest of their family as they continue to learn how to live with an Arianna-shaped hole in their hearts. Christina and I talked about a few things I want to clear up for anyone not familiar with the topics. We mentioned the name Rosemarie a couple of times. I'm sure many of you knew we were referring to Rosemarie D'Alessandro. I told the story of Rosemary's daughter, Joan D'Alessandro, in episodes 164 and 165. For decades, Rosemary has advocated for protecting children, both through her Joan's Joy Foundation and by getting multiple laws passed on a state and federal level. I'll link to those episodes and to more information about Rosemary's efforts in the show notes. I mentioned the yearly Parents of Murdered Children Convention, which I'll also link in the show notes, and which I learned about through Fallon Fridley's mom, Kristen. I'll include links to my episodes about Fallon's story as well. Finally, I told Christina about a documentary that focused on the experience of the first responders in a case I covered, which was that of Dorisabel Baez. I'll provide links to both my episode and to the incredibly powerful York Daily Record documentary titled Carrying Dorisabel, which I can't recommend highly enough. Before I end the episode, I'd like to play a couple of very brief clips of Arianna's little voice. First, this was Arianna as a baby. In the last clip, Christina and her mom had a video call with a particularly feisty Arianna who responded to everything they said with a war cry that makes me laugh every time I hear it.
Ornery girl. Ah! Yeah! Look at that pretty hair.
Did this girl have the best scream or what? Thank you, everyone, for keeping Arianna and her family in your thoughts and your hearts. I can promise the family one thing for certain. Arianna Jade Starkey will never be forgotten. Quick shout-outs to my newest patrons. Huge thanks to Jenny C. from Chicago, Illinois. And from the Bates Motel, thank you to Jaden S., Julie, and Kylie 2016. I appreciate you all so much. To help keep this show going, you can visit patreon.com/stlcpod. That's it for this episode. Join me next time for another child's story. If you like the show, please follow or subscribe to Suffer the Little Children on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Spreaker, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast listening app. And please leave me a 5-star rating and a positive review on your favorite podcast platform. Visit the website at sufferthelittlechildrenpod.com. You can support the show by visiting patreon.com/stlcpod, where you can become a patron for rewards ranging from a shout-out by name on the show to bonus content and exclusive gifts. You can also support the show at ko-fi.com/stlcpod. Follow the podcast on Facebook and Instagram at Suffer the Little Children Pod and on TikTok at STLCpod. View photos related to today's episode on Facebook. This podcast is researched, written, hosted, edited, and produced by Laine. Intro theme music is by Dream Note Music, and all music for the show is licensed from audiojungle.net. For more information about preventing or reporting child abuse, visit childhelp.org or call your area's child abuse hotline. And remember, if you see something, say something.